All right, so it's time for the news. The first news story here is that the Nintendo Switch Nindies Showcase happened, and they announced a bunch of games, dates, and the release windows and stuff like that. So first off, they showed which was the first one? It was Super Meat Boy Forever, which is coming
Oh
out to
yeah.
Switch in 2018. And it's Team Meat also announced later on that Super Meat Boy will be coming to Switch as well before Forever comes out.
Yeah, this is a sequel, right? To the
Yeah,
first one.
it's a weird like sequel, but it's more like auto. It's more of an auto runner than just a pure platformer.
Yeah, they said like it's supposed the levels are supposed to get harder each time you replay them.
Yeah, and I don't really feel that. It's like, why? Why
Yeah.
can't you just make levels again? Because always, like, the thing about Super Meat Boy, I haven't played it a lot, but what makes Super Meat Boy so great is just the pure design of the levels. They're so perfectly designed. That's why they're
Yeah.
hard. And I feel like if you have, because it sounds like they're gonna have this like procedurally generated aspect to the game, and that always just feels so weird, and it's either too hard or not hard enough, or it's just like repeat. It just feels repetitive or something like that. So
Yeah, and we're also getting a new character, right? Bandage girl.
yeah, she was like the damsel in distress in the first game, I believe.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I guess she's like playable this time around or something.
Cool.
Yeah.
And also, Super Meat Boy was like one of the first big indie games.
Yeah. It came out, I don't remember when it came out, but it was like on Wii and Xbox 360.
Yeah, there's a great documentary about it. It's called like Indie Game, the movie, or
Yeah,
something like that.
I watched that. It was a pretty
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we're not gonna go in order of everything. So let's just take the next news that I care about, which is SteamWorld Dig 2. Got a date of September 21st, and yeah, it's I'm excited about this game.
Did you play the original?
Yeah, I did. I played SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist. They're both really great games. They
Okay.
apparently also announced the pricing, so now I know that,
Yeah,
which will be
1999.
yeah 1999, and in Sweden at least, this prices on games in that scale is just a straight 200.
Yeah, pretty
So that's
much.
nice. The weird I've noticed like some weird things regarding like pricing just in general when it comes to like the Switch or like the PlayStation Store. Indie games are generally cheaper on the PlayStation Store
Hmm.
than the Nintendo eShop, but AAA games are cheaper on the eShop than the PlayStation Store.
Huh. Is it a big
So
difference?
no, it's like within the hundreds. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's not a big difference. But yeah, it's not like as strict as it seems to be in the US, where like it's $60 and it's $60 everywhere. Like it
Yeah.
varies a lot here. It seems it varies also
Yep.
a lot between physical games and digital games. Digital games are usually cheaper here
Yeah, that's true.
um, than physical games. Some physical games can become really really expensive, and that's the
Yeah.
case like with the SNES Classic and the NES Classic. Like they're way above the US pricing.
Yeah, but that's like import tax and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
adds up on the tax.
Yeah, probably related to the fact that it's hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up, Shovel Knight King of Cards, the next
Cool.
expansion to Shovel Knight. Seems cool. I'm excited
Yeah.
for it.
I played Shovel Knight for like an hour. Then I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't want to play it right now. And
Yeah.
never went back to it.
Yeah, you should play it. It's nice. It's a cool game. Um, let's see. Yeah, Golf Story, a Switch exclusive, will arrive in September, so it should be out just very soon.
Yeah,
It's basically Earthbound mixed with like Mario Golf, and it seems awesome.
sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool game. So let's see, what else we got? We have Floor Kids will come out this holiday season. This
I
weird
think,
rhythm game that has this like very hand drawn art style.
yeah, I really love the art style of this one. I think this was like the most interesting one they showed.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting. That was like, huh, that looks weird. I'm
Yeah,
interested.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how the gameplay works. If it's something like parappa the rap, or if it's more like motion based.
Yeah, I wonder how like freestyly it will be, or if it's like you have to hit these notes like Guitar Hero or something,
Yeah,
or
might be.
if it's like yeah, just do something that's cool and like in beat with the music and just, or if there are like rules to the game, like how moves just like flow together and stuff like that. You get scored by how well you flow the moves and stuff like that. Maybe that's it, because from what they showed on the stream, there aren't any. There's no like highway or there are no icons on screen. So
No,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I also got Travis Strikes Again and No More Heroes. It was the big
Oh
like
yeah.
announcement at the end of the stream.
One more thing.
Yeah, it was the one more thing moment.
Yeah, I, I never played No More Heroes, but I've always been interested in them, and this one looks like different. It's like you play through mini games instead.
Yeah. It seems like though after in interviews, Suda51 has said that it's still gonna be No More Heroes, even though the art style is different. So that's pretty
What do you mean?
interesting.
So
Like,
like you play regular No More Heroes, but in like Hotline Miami instead
yeah,
and stuff like that.
that's
Okay.
apparently that's how I interpreted it anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
it's cool that they're changing it up.
yeah, and there will apparently there will be like traditional No More Heroes segments as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't played No More Heroes, so I don't know. Yeah, then let's just go through just yay or nay the
Yeah.
remaining games here.
Okay.
We got Morphe's Law. What do you think about that?
Yay. I mean,
Yeah,
it
looks
looks
like an
fun.
interesting game.
Yeah.
Kentucky Route Zero TV edition.
I know nothing about this game. I just know that someone said it's really popular on PC, but I've never heard anything about it. So
Yeah, it's some. I think it's like an adventure game or something. I might check it out.
yeah.
I don't know. We got Dragon Mark of Death.
Uh,
Yeah, whatever.
doesn't look that great.
Battle Chef Brigade.
Um,
Nah.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yono and the Celestial Elephants. I'm pretty
Oh
interested
yes.
in this one.
Oh
Yeah, it
yes.
looks pretty cool. I watched some. It came popped up on the store, and I just checked it out a little bit, and yeah, it looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah. It's like someone described it as Zelda, but instead of Link, you have a blue elephant.
Yeah,
So
and I
I'm all in.
noticed this as I was on the store. Like the Yono and the Celestial Elephants logo is
Yeah.
just like the Zelda logo. It's got
I
like
like it.
almost the same font and everything. Yeah, then we have Mulaka. That's no.
I mean, it looks interesting, but the animations weren't
Yeah,
good at all.
yeah. Next up, Hero. I don't know.
Looks like a mobile game.
Yeah. Light Fingers. No.
No,
Polybridge. Yay. I'd say.
maybe.
Sausage Sports Club. I think that looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, looks a lot like Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Gang Beast needs to come to Switch. Like, what are you
it
doing?
it needs to come out. It's
Yeah.
not released on PS4, right?
Yeah, it's not even out. It's just in early access still on PC. Like, how much time do they need?
Yeah,
And I don't feel
it's
like
been
I
years.
see any major differences between whenever you see the game.
There's like only more levels every time.
And, like, more outfits and stuff.
Yeah,
like
just put out a game and you can release that in updates later.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, and they're backed by Double Fine even. Like, how doesn't Double Fine just give them more resources and just finish the goddamn game?
So dumb.
Yeah. We got Mom Hid My Game.
Oh yeah.
I did not think that looked interesting at all.
It looks so stupid. That looks fun.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. There were some announcements for this year and a lot of announcements for 2018. So this is just to kind of keep solidifying the fact that the Switch is not here to die.
Exactly.
So,
all right, what's next?
Yeah, the next news story here is a pretty sad one, I think. It's Nintendo has announced that Miiverse will shut down in November.
All right, just stop there for a second. I've never owned a Wii U or a 3DS, and I have no idea what Miiverse is.
Miiverse is Memeverse.
Oh.
It's the birth of memes. This is and not just like there are just so many like YouTube videos about like the worst post on Miiverse and stuff like that. Like people post like the weirdest shit on Miiverse, and you can see that follow on like in Splatoon 2 now. Like,
yeah.
It's the funny thing is when like because kids are playing, so basically you're just running around the plaza in Splatoon, and then you just see some person with a speech bubble over his head like, my mom and dad are fighting. It's like, it's so sad and funny at the same time.
So it's like a platform where you like import your Miis and then you hang out with others?
No, Miiverse it's a social network basically. But every game has its own community. Every game has its own page, basically. So, what would happen is, so let's say you're playing, like, Super Mario 3D World or something, and you're like, I don't know how to do this level, like, it's too hard or something. You can just post a screenshot and, like, can someone help me? And then, like, someone can reply to you and, like, yeah, do this, blah, blah, blah. And, like, oh, thank you.
That's cool.
Like, yeah, and it was also just this awesome community where you you knew everyone on this platform has a Wii U or a 3DS. So it's like this little segmented piece of the internet where Nintendo, like really hardcore Nintendo fans, can just talk to each other. So that's what I really loved about Miiverse.
So my next question. Did anyone really care for it, or was it just like a gimmick thing?
I think a lot of people did care for it. I think the fact that Nintendo just gave up on monitoring it after a while is what really made it become Memeverse instead of Miiverse. But yeah, I think that they should have kept it ongoing with the Switch. Even and still keep like the Twitter and Facebook integration, but just keep the Miiverse.
I think this like kind of shows that they're trying to move away from the Wii U and just like get rid of all of it and start anew with the Switch.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think Miiverse is a great idea, and I think that if Wii U wasn't such a massive failure, Miiverse may have actually lived on to the Switch.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get another version on the Switch.
Yeah, it might happen.
Or something similar.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's pretty sad. It's gonna shut down on November 7th at 10 p.m. Pacific time.
If you don't know what that is in your time zone, then Google it.
Yeah, Google exists for that. Speaking of like conversions and stuff, I love that just Google does it for you. You don't have to like Google for the converter and go into a website and convert it there. Like, it just happens in the Google search bar. That's great.
That's great.
All right, so next up is a story I don't really care about, but it has more like, it has larger meaning, which is NBA 2K18, will have all the modes of the PlayStation 4 version. So it's basically feature complete. It would also support Amiibo, but it won't hit 60 FPS.
No, I don't care about 60 FPS part, but what's interesting about the story to me is like the Amiibo part. Yes, what the fuck does that mean?
Do you know about NBA Street
No,
on GameCube?
no.
You could play as Mario, Luigi, and Peach.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they're gonna like do this. That was an EA game though, but I'm wondering if they're gonna actually bring in Mario, Luigi, like different Mario characters, if you can like scan them on the Switch.
yeah. I hope I can play as King Day, like with a bunch of tall guys. That'd be cool.
That would be pretty funny. But
Yeah.
actually, I think the frame rate hit has a very big impact on this game, because this is a sports game where you have to like it's a gameplay focused game. If like in a game like Uncharted, for instance, it doesn't matter that the game is 30 FPS. I would like it to be 60 FPS. I would like every game to be 60 FPS. But this is a this is a sports game where literally every game in the 2K sports series has been 60 FPS. Except this game.
Okay.
And
so it's 60 FPS on like PS4 and Xbox One, right?
yeah. And it's been 60 FPS since the Dreamcast, apparently.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
That's weird.
Yeah, I think this is just because and like, let's be honest, like there are no like super advanced physics calculations going on in this game. The most advanced thing going on is the ball. It's just a physics simulation, and we've seen way more advanced physics simulations in like Breath of the Wild. The Switch is more than capable of running this game at 60 FPS. This is not a CPU bottleneck. This is a GPU bottleneck. This is because they want to keep their graphics, and by limiting the frame rate to 30 FPS, they don't have to work as much on actually like downgrading the graphics enough to get it to work on the Switch. So I think this is very much just a quick solution to get a stable frame rate on the Switch.
Probably. I mean, it's cool that they're not dialing back on all of the features. That you're pretty much getting the same game on all platforms.
Yeah, that's obviously a good thing. But a lot of those features aren't something that wouldn't run on the Switch. Like, it's just features. Like, it's just like, oh, you can do this thing. Like, those things just probably run on a smartphone. Like,
yeah, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, now the next story here is Sony sets a date for their PlayStation press conference at TGS 2017.
Yeah, it will be on September 19th at 4 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. And once again, if you don't know what that is in your time zone, then you should Google it.
Yeah.
I mean, time zones are so, like, they're confusing.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think we'll see at this press conference?
I mean, TGS is usually like either it's great or it's not good at all. But I mean, From Software is probably going to be there, and I think they'll show a new IP, and perhaps maybe Bloodborne 2. I think it's pretty obvious that we're getting a sequel. I just don't know if it's From Software that's doing it or like another developer is working on it, and it might be too big for TGS at this point because
like I
they
think
kind of want to save that for maybe PlayStation Experience or E3 next year.
Yeah,
depending on when.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bloodborne is too big for TGS at this point. What we're gonna see here is very niche Japanese games.
Yeah, maybe they like. I think it was before E3. Sony like came out and said they're gonna focus more on Japanese IPs. So maybe we'll see something like Kingdom Hearts 3, like get a new location or a new universe or character.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we can definitely see that.
And I'm hoping for Devil May Cry 5. It makes sense. Since they said that they're focusing on Japanese IPs, and it's been a really long time since Devil May Cry 4. I think it was 2008. And also, the release of Nier Automata earlier this year proves that the hack and slash genre it still has a place. It's not dead.
Yeah, I think I do think Devil May Cry is also too big for TGS.
You do?
Yeah, it's something that would happen on at E3.
Maybe.
I have personally not put a lot of stock into these kind of late in the year press conferences that have been a big in the past, like Gamescom, Paris Games Week, and TGS. What matters anymore are Nintendo Directs, E3, PlayStation Experience, and
That's about it.
yeah, that's about it. There aren't enough announcements, and announcements get very just like I think companies have figured out that by announcing things at these big conferences, your announcement would just be muddled out by everything else. So people just like to drop their announcements whenever these days.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure like PlayStation is going to be the only one doing a conference at TGS, so they're gonna have like the whole like head.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in the center because no one else is gonna have like huge news drops.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think.
why do you think everyone else has dropped out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Sony's probably like they're probably only there because they have a big Japanese audience and they have very Japanese focused games. And yeah, you may say like, yeah, well, Nintendo has very Japanese games as well. They're a Japanese company. I would argue that Nintendo's IP are way more focused on the Western audiences these days.
Yeah, that's completely true.
Yeah.
Also, there's a small chance we're getting a new Death Stranding trailer, but that game is just too big for TGS.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
And
I definitely don't think so.
Yeah, there's another game that might be there, but we'll talk about that one later. So. In another news story.
Yeah. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, I was thinking about something. Yeah, we could see Monster Hunter World.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could see that.
Yeah, that's very likely, I'd say.
Yeah. Don't give a shit about Monster Hunter though.
No, me neither.
All right, so next up here is PlayStation Plus games announced for 2017, September 2017. And the most interesting inclusion here is that they're putting in the first PlayStation VR game, which is Rigs.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I was pretty excited for Rigs pre-release, and I still think I would get it if I get a PlayStation VR, but yeah, I thought the trailer that they released was like really promising, but it didn't seem like it was a lot like the game actually ended up a lot like the trailer.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it since it's released.
Yeah.
So it looked cool. But I mean, if you have a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation Vita, and a PlayStation VR, you're like getting 7 games for free this month.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think That's You is still for free as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I don't really blame them for upping the price of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. So what do you think they should do with PlayStation Plus in the future?
I mean, I don't know how it works, but I think it works like they ask a developer, like they give them money to put a game for free.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's just like you get it like a fee and the game is on PlayStation Plus. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
like the amount of downloads doesn't actually matter. You just get like a solid amount of money for having your game on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. So I feel like they should just give up on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, definitely. They should just like the PlayStation 3 games. Like look at what they are this time. Like Truck Racer and Handball 2016. Who the fuck cares about these games? Yeah. No one does. Like either add 3 PlayStation 4 games and 3 Vita games, or 2 PS4 games, or actually I would say this is the best way to do it. 3 PS4 games, 2 Vita games, and 1 VR game.
Yeah.
Every month. I think that
Yeah.
would be the best amount of games.
Yeah, and also most PlayStation Vita game is cross-buy with PS4. So if
Yeah.
you don't, even if you don't have a Vita, you're also getting 2 extra place
Yeah,
games
definitely.
that
Yeah, so it's basically just 6 PS4 games at that point.
Yeah, and like the games this month, we didn't really say, but it's for PS4, it's Infamous Second Son and Strike Vector X, and for Vita, it's We Are Doomed and Had a Full Boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that we're finally getting like big AAA games for PlayStation Plus. Like last month, we had Just Cause 3 and Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been there's been like this huge like 2-year drought when it comes to
Yeah,
PlayStation Plus. Like there was literally nothing interesting
no,
at all. And yeah, they're finally like bringing back the AAA games, probably because they're old enough at this point.
yeah. I wonder if they dropped like a lot of subscribers because the games were like pretty much shit.
Yeah, I would think so. I
Yeah,
have a friend who just stopped paying for PlayStation Plus because the games were
yeah.
just shit.
I haven't played in a while.
Yeah, I still pay because I don't know, honestly. I guess it's for like
Multiplayer.
yeah, the multiplayer. But I never really
Yeah.
play multiplayer games
Yeah.
either, so I don't really know. I play like the most amount of time I spend in a multiplayer game on PlayStation 4 is probably the Uncharted 4 multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to have it if like a cool game comes around, but that hasn't really happened for a while. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's check out the next story. And yeah, you can take this one. It's the Atlas story.
Oh yeah, like I mentioned earlier about the game that might get announced. Atlas has been teasing an announcement of Catherine 2, so we might get that at PSX or PlayStation, like at TGS.
Yeah.
September 19th. Did you play the original, Catherine?
I played like a bit of it. I was really interested in the game, but then I just stopped. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I thought the the story segments of the game were way more interesting than the puzzles. Like
did you?
yeah, like than just main meat of the game. So
I mean, I really liked it. It's so weird.
yeah,
You like cheat on your girlfriend with a girl that has the same name as your girlfriend. So it's like super confusing. And like as you said, the story is probably more interesting than the puzzle parts. But I mean, I really like those two.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm pretty excited for a sequel if we get one.
yeah. I'm also just in general not really into the anime tropes. So a lot of like the anime-ish games kind of fall under my radar.
Yeah, same for me. Sometimes.
Yeah. There are some that make it through.
Yeah, like Persona.
Yeah, I want to play Persona. I've never played a Persona game.
You should.
And also like not just when it comes to games as well. A game that I just really don't want to play is a game that is heavily anime and heavily just confusing Japanese game design.
Yeah.
Because like basically when you get to Japanese games, you have Nintendo. They make great games. They're not, like they may as well not even be in Japan. And then just every other Japanese developer, they may make these extremely convoluted games that have like extremely confusing menus that don't look really attractive at all, and they have like these really tropey anime storylines, and the games have really stiff animations and all of these things. Like they're just not attractive games at all.
Yeah. They really care about the menus over in Japan.
Yeah. And they
Yeah,
just
like the
don't even
first-
look
The
interesting.
first Persona 5 trailer was like all just menus.
Yeah, like Persona 5 is like a huge difference, like difference from that. Like every piece of Persona 5 is just so extremely stylized.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would I would like to see what a Persona game just completely made for PlayStation 4 would look like, because you remember that Dragon Ball Fighters game? that was announced at E3.
No.
It's from the Blaze Blue developers, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that game is 3D, but it looks so extremely 2D anime.
I think it's 2D.
No, I think it's 3D. Like, they changed the camera angles and stuff in the game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's 3D.
I do think it's 3D. And like, when I saw that game, it wasn't the Xbox conference for some weird reason. But when I saw that, I was like, shit, they finally nailed it. They finally made a 3D game look like 2D anime. Like, it's insane. And I just want to see, like, a Persona game that looks like that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Basically make the cutscenes and the game itself look indistinguishable.
Yeah,
almost like South Park.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not getting a Persona game for a while.
Yeah.
Not a new one.
Especially if Catherine 2 is real.
Yeah, that's true. Which I hope it is.
Yeah. So yeah, the next news story here is that Apple has announced an event for September 12th.
Probably gonna show that new iPhone.
Yeah, pretty obvious. So yeah, it's next week, and yeah, it looks pretty. It's definitely gonna be the iPhone 8.
Yeah.
I saw like some kind of patent filing today that said that it's basically like, it seems like the fingerprint scanner in the screen is apparently not going to happen because they're just not there yet. Because basically the rumors of the iPhone 8, which, you know, it's insane that you just can't keep it in anymore. It's just everywhere. It's this phone that has, the face is just all screen basically.
Yeah, kind of like the Galaxy S8.
Yeah, but even more than that, like there's no lip and there's no it's just all screen. The only thing that just isn't a screen is like this tiny little thing that just protrudes out in the middle of the top of the screen, where you have the camera, the earpiece, and stuff like that, and all the sensors. So it looks like a pretty attractive phone, and it's also pretty interesting. This is the first keynote that will take place in the Steve Jobs Theater, which is in Apple's new building that they announced. I think it was 2 years ago. It's like this huge circular building. Looks pretty futuristic.
That's cool. I mean, they've been doing some weird things lately with like the headphone jack and all that, and the super overpriced accessories.
Yeah. I'm personally on the side that we should remove the headphone jack.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's very inconvenient.
Yeah.
But the headphone jack is the only port that is analog that we still use today. Like, this port comes from the era of SCART, VGA, ports that we just do not use anymore. And we're still using the headphone jack. We need to make a new standard, but Apple isn't doing themselves any favor or the future any favors because they still use Lightning. If the iPhone 7 had the USB Type-C port, this would have been so much easier.
Yeah. It really would.
Yeah, if we could just make the USB Type-C port the next headphone standard, that would be awesome. Because all the Android phones are doing it. We just need Apple on board as well. And I hope, for the love of fucking God, that this time they have the USB Type-C port. The reason that they designed Lightning in the first place was because they didn't think USB Micro B was good enough. So they designed Lightning. But now USB Type-C is better than Lightning, so they should be using USB Type-C.
Yeah. So, are you using like an iPhone or are you more of an Android guy?
I have an Android phone. What about you?
Yeah, me too. I have the S8.
Yeah, I don't like Samsung. I have a Google Nexus 5X. Um, the next phone I will get is either if I have enough money to buy it this year, it will be the Google Pixel 2.
Oh yeah.
Or if not, the Google Pixel 3. Yeah, that's basically it. Like I like Android. I think it's a really good operating system, especially when you don't have all the bloatware that all the other phone manufacturers throw into their phones. Yeah, like there are just memes around everywhere every time Samsung releases a phone of how literally every bloatware app on Samsung phones already exists in Android.
Yeah.
You just have like 20 duplicate apps and like, what am I supposed to do?
I mean, they kind of like dialed it down with the newest one, but it's still really bad.
Yeah. And yeah, I had, let's see which one. I had the Samsung Note 3. Yeah, so basically my phone history is the first smartphone I got was an iPhone 3 GS. Then I got an iPhone 4S. Then I got a Samsung Note 3. Then I got a OnePlus 1. Then I got the OnePlus 2. And then I got the Google Nexus 5X.
Yeah, I've kind of been like Samsung all the way. I started with S3 and then S6 and now S8. Or I had an HTC before that.
Yeah. But I have become more and more interested in Apple's ecosystem in general. Like I really want to have a MacBook, and I really want to have an iPad Pro, and I really want to have an iPhone. Because I just love it just works. Like that's what I love about their tech. Like it just works.
It does what it needs to do, but nothing more.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so awesome about Apple's things. And I also just want a MacBook because Mac just looks so beautiful. And just having a MacBook is also like pretty cool. All right, so I think we're done with this topic. So the next topic is, or next news story here, is that Taylor Swift has released her "Look What You Made Me Do" music video.
Yeah.
What do you think about the music video?
I mean, it's a cool video. Yeah, I like that she's impersonating the whole snake thing, and like it just shows that she doesn't give a shit about what anyone thinks.
Yeah, and she keeps. She has like this weird part of the video where she makes fun of Katy Perry as well.
Yeah.
Like that's when she like crashes her car. And she's wearing like a leopard thing.
Yeah, and that's like
so clearly Katy Perry.
Yeah, the ponytail and all that. Are we playing the video?
There we go. The new song has been released. And it's called Ready For It. Or more specifically, ... Ready For It.
Like, that's so stupid.
I think this is a really good song.
Yeah, the song is great.
Yeah, I don't know if I think it's better than Look What You Made Me Do, or I don't know if I think Look What You Made Me Do is better than Ready For It, but I think it's a great song. It just makes me really excited for Reputation.
Yeah. I'd say Look What You Made Me Do is like, it's more catchier, but I like this one better.
Yeah. And also just the first time I heard it, I I have notifications on Taylor Swift's Twitter.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh, what's this? Like, is she releasing a second single so close to the first one? I just didn't believe it was a new single. So in like the tweet, she said, "Do you want the latest taste of Reputation?" And I was like, oh, it's just like a little tease of the song. And then I started listening to it because like the YouTube link shows up and it's the entire song. Yeah. And then she just fucking starts rapping and I'm like, fuck yes.
It's the return of T's whistle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
a very different from what her previous work.
Yeah. And I also like that it's the first song on the album. And it's called Ready for It. So she's basically asking if you're ready for the album.
Yeah. Do you know who Halsey is? She's an artist.
I've heard her like collaborate with other musicians.
Yeah, this song sounds a lot like something she would do. Like music wise, not the whole rapping part, but yeah, like the beats and all that.
All right. Yeah, I think also, by the way, back to Look What You Made Me Do, the music video. I love the part at the end.
Oh yeah, that little skit.
Yeah, where she just basically plays out a bunch of different Taylors from the past. And you can like specifically like go through and you can notice like, oh, this Taylor is from like the Fearless era, this Taylor is from like the Red era.
Yeah, when she's like accepting the award, it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to be a part of this, please.
Yeah, so that's from like when Kanye West interrupted her when she won her first award. Yeah, and she's like, I would like to be excluded from this narrative.
So good.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about that is the zombie Taylor sounds really weird. Like why it sounds like they just told Taylor to do the line normally and they just tried to do something in editing.
Like, just do something, make it cool.
Yeah. Like they could have asked her to do like a voice, like, yeah.
No.
Yeah, anyway, that's it for the news. Only 43 minutes.
A new record.
Yeah. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones Season 7. And this will be full-on spoilers from the start. So if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, or if you're not caught up to Season 7, which is Season 7, Episode 7, because they're not making any more episodes this season. So if you're not caught up, you can stop the podcast now, and you're not going to miss anything, because the pitch afterwards will be Game of Thrones game ideas, and they will obviously be very influenced by Game of Thrones spoilers as well.
Yeah. And also, if you haven't seen the latest season, then what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see you right after this. Alright, now it's time for Game of Thrones Season 7 spoiler cast.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah, the winter is here.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, so let's just start off with, what do you think about Game of Thrones in general?
I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite TV shows. I haven't read the books at all.
Same here.
But like, yeah, it's great. Great writing, and the soundtrack is just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of what we have talked about earlier about like Uncharted. It's just written in a way that it's just created to avoid tropes.
Yeah.
And especially especially Game of Thrones, like a franchise that is so like it's starting out in fantasy. Like, this is like hardcore fantasy, which is one of the probably most tropey genres in storytelling. And Game of Thrones just completely ignores like all the fantasy tropes.
It has you on the edge of your seat at all times.
Yeah. But speaking of the edge of your seat, season 7 isn't really as trope avoiding.
No, I noticed that too. Like it seems like important characters like Jon Snow and Jamie seems to have like some invisible shield on them.
Yeah, they
Like
have plot armor.
yeah, exactly. Like I think it might be because they didn't have any books to go from this time.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I also think like yeah, I know the reason they shortened it to 7 episodes is because of for
Yeah,
budgetary reasons, but they
they
should
wanted
have
big
really
dragons
done
instead.
10 episodes because this felt so rushed. Not in like
Yeah,
quality, but like in storytelling. It was just so rushed. Like every point was just rushed through so quickly.
they just want to get to the end. It feels like.
Yeah, and also season 7 just felt like setup for season 8.
Yeah.
Um,
I listened to a podcast. They said like um, when season 8 is out and finished, season 7 is part 1 and season 8 is part 2, and it feels like it's probably going to feel like one big arc.
yeah,
So to say.
probably. So let's go through some of the major points that happened in this season.
Yeah, can we just start with saying that Arya is a badass now?
I
I mean, she's always been, but like this season, she really stepped up her game. I feel like.
I've been like kind of disappointed with Arya this season.
Really?
Because basically all this season was just a stupid fight between Sansa and Arya.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
they were just fighting with each other and it just felt so unnecessary. Like even when you get the payoff, which is obviously that
Littlefinger.
yeah, Littlefinger is like even if you see all the fights as they're fake, like they're just playing it up to make Littlefinger think he's getting them. Like it's I don't know, it just the fights just weren't worth it for me, I think.
Did you think he was going to die? Like when Arya stepped into the room?
That Arya was gonna die.
No, that Littlefinger was going to die.
No, I thought they were gonna kill Arya and just fucking like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary. But then we were like, Lord Baelish.
Yeah. I really liked when they like slit his throat because you could see him trying to talk his way out, even though he couldn't talk in his.
Yeah.
It was just really well executed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good scene. I like obviously
Yeah.
the scene itself was awesome. I just didn't think it was, even though it was really good and definitely worth it, it wasn't worth the weird offshoots of their storyline, basically.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, they could have done it like have this normal like a storyline through like episode 1 to like 5, and then in like episode 6 and 7 that's when they start fighting and have like weird play up for Littlefinger. But yeah, I just didn't think it was worth the entire season, worth to spend the entire season on this fake fight.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, the next major point we can hit on is yeah, what about let's pick let's pick Bran. What do you think about Bran's character this season?
No, I hate him. I really hate him.
Yeah, it seems like they just completely rewritten him between season 6 and 7.
Yeah, like, oh, you were so beautiful the night you were raped. Like, what the fuck are you saying?
That's so weird.
Yeah, I really like the scene in the last episode with him and Sam.
Yeah,
Sam going,
and then just the scene between Jon and Daenerys, cutting back and forth between them. That was so funny. That was so good. So, what did you think Jon and Daenerys were gonna get together this season?
I kind of at the beginning of the season I thought we would save it for next season, but like towards the couple of last episodes, it's safe to say it was pretty obvious that
Yeah.
we're gonna get them.
I think there was like this pretty weird turn in like episode 6 where Daenerys gets like really emotional for Jon. But like besides that weird turn, because it was such a sudden turn.
One second she's like bend the knee for me, and it's just like, oh, please marry me instead.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also like how for the last couple of weeks the entire world has been rooting for incest.
Yeah. But the best meme is just like when Game of Thrones starts, season 1, everyone's like, ew, incest.
Yeah.
And season 7, everyone's like, yay, incest.
Let's go.
Yeah. So let's talk about Sam.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, what do you think about Sam's story arc this season?
I mean, I kind of thought he would stay and just become a maester, but I mean, I like that he left and just go and help Jon instead.
Yeah.
And I really like that he is like the maester said, you can't do this to Sir Jorah, and he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna do this anyway.
Yeah. I really didn't like the maesters. They just, I mean, they were good characters. Like they were definitely what they were supposed to do, I guess. But like it's not like they were like doing a bad performance. They were obviously doing the role that they were supposed to do. But yeah, it just really felt like when you're dealing with old people that don't understand.
They just want to get magic out of the world and make it easier, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just like when you talk to grandparents about video games, and they're just like, you should go out and play football or something more productive, and I'm like, no, I want to play video games.
Well, silly stat is that.
So,
what do you think about all the time traveling stuff that has been happening?
Yeah, just quote unquote time traveling, not actual time traveling, but I think it wasn't really that bad until episode 6. When they're on that little island in the ice.
Oh yeah, and Gendry has to run home.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like he has to run all of this distance that they walked, which is first of all completely, humans are incapable of running that far.
Yeah.
Especially as fast as he ran, like he would have died halfway through at least.
He nearly did, too, but
yeah. And then, like, he runs all the way to Eastwatch, and then Eastwatch sends a raven to Dragonstone, and then Daenerys sits and like, what should I do for probably a few hours? And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna go help them. I bring all my 3 dragons, by the way, which was completely unnecessary. You could have brought one of them. And... then she flies all the way over Westeros to the specific point in the north, or beyond the wall, where they happen to be. Which is, first of all, how did you find that? Like, how can you specify that point when there are like no maps of that place, no roads,
and all of that happened like under a night.
Yeah, I think they did like sleep once during that time. I think what they should have done is at least made it a cliffhanger, so it would have been a little bit more ambiguous how much time had passed. And then the payoff happens when Daenerys arrives in episode 7 instead of in episode 6. I think that way I think they could have made it more believable, since the viewers had to wait as well.
Yeah, that's true. But like overall, I didn't mind the time traveling. I like the time skips all that much, because you don't really care about 2 people going on a boat. You want to see the big battles. So I'd rather they spend time like battling and continuing the story than just showing two people on a boat.
Yeah, and we've already gotten 5 seasons of traveling, so
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, just getting to the point is what we need. We know what we need to do. But yeah, I think the major problems from this season stem from the fewer amount of episodes. Because there were some things like when she sends Grey Worm and the Unsullied to take down Castle Rock, right?
Yeah.
And then the Grey Worms, no, not the Grey Worms.
Unsullied.
No, the one with the ships. The ones,
Greyjoys.
the Greyjoys, right?
Yeah.
They block them from getting back on their ships, so they have to walk back to Dragonstone.
Yeah.
But I did not think that was clear enough.
No.
I thought until Grey Worm just suddenly shows up again in like episode 7.
Yeah, I thought they were still at Castle Rock.
Yeah, I thought they were dead. Like I thought the Greyjoys appearing in the water and then just nothing more just kind of signified like, oh, we lost. Like that. I think that's what it's supposed to mean. But then they just show up, and then I like listen to other people talk about it, and like, oh, they had to walk.
Yeah,
but we don't have. I don't think we ever see them start walking. So
no, we like see them at the Castle Rock, and then I think it's in the final episode we're like attacking Bronn and Jaime at another castle.
Yeah.
I don't think we see like the entire army in one place.
Yeah, so I think they could have really done with at least like one more episode, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they could have spread it out a little bit more. They could have shown that they walked, which was a kind of important point.
Or just have like a little conversation, like, "Oh, how did you get back? Oh, we walked here."
Yeah, not just him showing up, and especially like in the beginning of the season when you see Grey Worm and Missandei's like scene, their sex scene.
Yeah,
that kind of sets the precedent that like, oh, Grey Worm is gonna have a bigger importance in this season, because otherwise, why would they dedicate this like big scene to Grey Worm and Missandei? But then you just don't see any more of them later. I think even Missandei is very scarce in the season in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. And they just needed more time. And HBO, like please, you're never gonna have a bigger show than Game of Thrones. No. Just spend all your fucking money on this season. Just fucking cancel Ballers or whatever. I don't care. Like, this is your moneymaker. And I think it's because HBO are not treating the show to its proper. It's not giving the show its proper justice right now. This show definitely needs more money to achieve what it's supposed to become at the end of season 8. But season 7, just while it was a good show, it was not Game of Thrones good.
Yeah, I agree with that. It wasn't as good as other seasons, I'd say.
Yeah, and it was like it was only budget cuts basically. Like that's all the things that just made it feel rushed and and weird, I would say. And
I'm a bit worried for season 8. Like, they gotta wrap all of this up in 6 episodes.
What makes me kind of hopeful though is that they're making the episodes longer, which means that it's not just 6 normal episodes, it's 6 movies at this point.
Yeah, but some of the episodes this season was longer as well. Like some were like an hour, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the finale was obviously longer as well.
Yeah, it was 120, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see, what other things do you have? Oh yeah, what do you let's talk a little bit more about the fight beyond the wall there. When the Night King just goes for Viserion, I think the name of that dragon is.
Yeah.
Instead of Drogon, and I'm like, why? Yeah. By hitting Drogon, you're gonna strand all of them. You're gonna win right there. And that was just plot armor in full force.
Yeah. And like the other dragon fight with like the Lannisters, like I woke up the Monday after that episode aired, and like I hadn't seen it yet, and Twitter was like freaking out over this huge dragon fight.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I thought it was a bit overrated.
I thought it was really good. Like the best part is when Braun is in the Scorpion, I think it was. Like that was just such a cool thing. Like he's just turning it around and he's like loading it, it's firing it. It looks so cool. I loved it. I love that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I have been lucky that I am unemployed and I wake up very late. So basically, the episode is out here on HBO Nordic by the time I wake up, so I can just ignore Twitter, watch the episode, and then go on Twitter.
Yeah. Did you think Jamie was going to die at the end of the last episode?
No, I did not think Jamie was gonna die, especially because they have clearly established plot armor at this point. Characters are not gonna die when they're not supposed to die.
I mean, that scene was so weird because he was like, he said to certain like, "Oh, tell him to do it if you want," and then she says, "Do it," but then he just walks away anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she has probably told, what's his name?
The Mountain.
The Mountain, exactly.
Yeah.
She's probably told the Mountain, like, even if she says to kill Jamie, don't kill Jamie.
Yeah, probably. Like, just keep him alive.
Yeah. Like, because she's kind of impulsive. You know, so she's probably said that to hinder herself from doing anything stupid. So what else do we have?
It's weird that Ghost wasn't in the season at all.
Yeah, that's just dumb, and it just sounds like that was also budget things.
Yeah, it totally was. But like, just one small scene, just let us know that he's still at Winterfell and it's all right.
And like, it would have been awesome, and they could have just brought Ghost to the battle beyond the wall and killed him there, and we wouldn't have worried about Ghost anymore. And it would have been like this awesome triumphant death for Ghost, but no, he gets to die off screen instead, I guess.
I hope they haven't killed him off screen.
Yeah. Like, he's been locked into a room first at the Night's Watch, and then now at Winterfell, I guess.
Yeah. Like, they could have just had him, like, when they killed Littlefinger, just have him sit in the corner and growl. It's something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else happened this season? Yeah, do you think Cersei is lying about the pregnancy?
I mean, she didn't drink the wine when Tyrion offered it to her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you know about the like prophecy, like her little brother is supposed to kill her?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, so I heard someone say that maybe she'll die when she's giving birth, and that way, like, Jamie killed her by giving her baby.
Yeah.
And that's the way she dies.
I think the way Cersei will die is that Jamie will have to kill her for some reason.
Yeah, I think so too. And she'll be like the Kingslayer and Queenslayer.
Yeah, because it seems, I think it's very clear at the end of the season that Jamie has jumped sides.
Oh yeah, he's totally on the other side now.
Yeah, and I think since he is now on the other side, like when the big like war happens and Daenerys is gonna take down Cersei and take over Westeros, I think Jamie will be the one to kill Cersei at that when that happens. And it's gonna be like probably this like very emotional scene where Jamie's like I don't have to do this, but I have to, blah 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 thing.
Probably. I kind of want Tyrion to do it though, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think Tyrion is gonna do it.
No. Do you think Tyrion knows? Like, did you think Cersei told him that they weren't gonna help them, and that's why he's like standing outside Daenerys' room at the end, looking all sad because he knows
Did
you're
you
not
see
gonna
like
get it.
did you see like the funny like the meme about that?
No, I didn't.
Like basically he's standing outside there because he's like, God damn it, that's my room. Yeah, but yeah, I'm really worried about what kind of deal Tyrion struck with Cersei.
Yeah, because there's obviously it's something is up since they didn't show the conversation they had.
Yeah.
So, what else happened?
Yeah, what else happened?
I mean, Jon's real name is kind of confusing.
Yeah, Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah, same as Daenerys' brother. Oh wait,
No, it's the same
no,
as Rhaegar's other son, Aegon Targaryen.
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think is gonna happen there? Like, do you think they will become like king and queen, or do you think Daenerys will want to take down Jon now because he's got more right to the throne than her?
I don't know. Like I kind of hope they don't become king and queen because that would be too like cliche, and I don't think it would fit Game of Thrones. But I also don't see her wanting to fight Jon.
Yeah, I think another good ending to this could be that Jon just gives it up to Daenerys.
Yeah, and he just takes the north.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or yeah, he either becomes king of the north, or he's like in the King's Guard, or something like that.
Yeah.
So what do you? There's a theory that Gendry will become the next king.
Yeah. Who has the biggest claim to the throne of between Daenerys and Gendry?
I would assume it's Gendry, right? Because he's a Baratheon.
Yeah, but the Baratheons stole the throne from the Targaryens.
Yeah, that's true. But if there are no Targaryens, which, I mean, let's be honest, Jon and Daenerys are gonna die by the end of the show.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna die.
I think one of them survives.
Yeah, maybe one of them survives. But if both of them die, Gendry is the next one in succession, basically.
Yeah. I kind of just want him and Arya to like just go out and be cool and faceless assassins together.
Yeah, because it would be basically people are saying that it's kind of called like the looping theory or something like that. That the season started with Robert Baratheon being king, the show started with Robert Baratheon being king, and the show will end with a Baratheon being king.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Jon Snow survives then, and he becomes Ward of the North, and you have one, in quotes, Stark and one Baratheon.
Yeah, maybe
ruling over like they did in the beginning.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, are there any other points you want to hit on here?
Not that I can remember right now. Do you have anything?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I really like that scene between the Hound and Brienne when they were at the end. Like, you don't have to worry about Arya anymore. She's all grown up and more than capable of doing her own killing. And then he goes like, "Yeah, that's my girl."
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
So should we? What were you gonna say?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a decent season. It wasn't the show's best, but
it was a good season of television, but it was not Game of Thrones standards.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, let's after the break, we're gonna talk about some Game of Thrones game ideas. right, so let's talk about some game ideas for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so I just want to start off with saying, did you hear the rumor about the Bethesda
Yeah,
Game of Thrones game?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's not gonna happen.
No, and I don't want it to happen either.
Yeah, I definitely don't want it to happen.
No. So, do you have any cool ideas for Game of Thrones game?
So, obviously, we have to talk about the actual Game of Thrones games that exist, which are the Telltale game, which I didn't like. I thought it was pretty lame.
Yeah, I haven't played it at all.
And then there's also like this weird Game of Thrones game that's tied to the books that came out like 2011 or something.
Oh yeah,
it's a really bad game.
Yeah.
I remember watching the review, and I think it was IGN's review, and they noted that you can just like when you open a wall, when you open a door, the hitbox for the door just disappears.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a dream that it's never gonna happen, but that CG Project Red makes a game, a Thrones game, like The Witcher, that is set during Robert's Rebellion. I mean, it's never gonna happen because they're busy making Cyberpunk and hopefully The Witcher 4. But I really want it to happen.
I would like to see a game because when it comes to games, they're obviously more. It's hard to tie in games because games are so, especially a good game, should be more, and especially this style of game, should be more focused on what the player wants to do rather than telling a story. So I think the best thing you could do is to set something after the events of the Game of Thrones show.
Yeah,
and
or something that like has nothing to do with the main story at all.
Yeah, and but why I want it after the show is because then you have free reign to do anything, and like maybe you could play like a character, and maybe you could like become king. You could like start a rebellion against like, let's say, Daenerys or whatever, whoever ends up being in the throne. Like, I don't know, you could do some kind of like Nemesis system-esque things where you have like this this hierarchy of people, with the king at the top. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Obviously, like combat it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, just regular action RPG combat, I suppose. Yeah, like a Game of Thrones game wouldn't be like really any more interesting than any other medieval fantasy game, except that it would have this much bigger focus on politics, which would be very important to making a good Game of Thrones game. Like, what if you could play the entire game without hurting anyone? Like, you can just get through every conversation by talking, a little like Littlefinger. Like, you can basically become Littlefinger.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If you could, like, like you said, talk your way out of every situation.
Yeah. It would be a little bit like Undertale, I suppose.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
I played like a bit of Undertale. I got
bored.
Good?
Okay.
But I stopped playing it because like Undertale has such a toxic community.
Yeah.
Of people who said like if you even hurt anyone in Undertale, you will just be murdered online. And yeah, I just tried to be peaceful from the entire game, and then I just like it's so tedious. But yeah, like you could do something like that, and have some kind of morality system.
Oh yeah, I think if you're gonna do a Game of Thrones game, you definitely need to have like some sort of morality.
Yeah, definitely. And it would need to have like pretty heavy. It would be heavy on dialogue and branching stories and interaction with characters.
Yeah. One thing I thought about was like having a faceless assassin game where like you play as a faceless assassin. Your mission is to take down targets. It could be something like storytelling of Uncharted with like better version of Assassin's Creed gameplay and like the skills and stuff from Dishonored, and like combine it into making like basically a stealth game. Or like you can choose to either play super stealth and like sneak up and like poison everyone,
Yeah.
or like just go like turn into a big guard and just rush in and
Yeah.
maybe like do something similar to what Square Enix did with Hitman Absolution. No, not Absolution. It was just called Hitman, right?
Yeah, the
The
latest
latest
one.
one. Yeah, where you have one new target like every month or so, and you can
Yeah.
like fuck around with in that area and just try and figure out new ways to take down the targets.
Yeah. Honestly, I can see why no one has made a good Game of Thrones game, because I can
Yeah.
literally not come up with any good ideas. I just like I think everything we come up with has just been made already.
Yeah, probably.
And Game of Thrones has so many aspects to it that any
It's
just
just not.
single game doesn't have all the necessary aspects to make a Game of Thrones game feel like Game of Thrones.
No. The show is just not the big battles. It's character development, and politics is obviously a huge part of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the best way you could be able to capture Game of Thrones is that you have and also I wouldn't want to have like a create your character and blah 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 whatever.
No.
Maybe you have like, oh, you are a Stark or you are a Lannister or whatever. Like, this is your defined character and you decide where you go from here.
Yeah.
So you have basically, maybe you have some like relationships already that you can strengthen or not, and you can go to other cities. Like, do you think the world of Game of Thrones is too big for an open world? Like the world of Westeros. Like, let's say we just limit it strictly to Westeros.
I mean, it's pretty big because you have
It's
obviously
a
you have the
continent.
7 kingdoms, and then you have the beyond the wall too. So
Yeah,
it's maybe
there would be like a lot of cities, of course.
but also a lot of just fields and forests.
Yeah, I think maybe it could be like this kind of the crew version of Westeros, where you have like the crew is this like truncated version of the United States. Maybe you could do something like that.
Yeah, we just have like all the big important structures and locations.
Yeah, and then just build everything around it in a way that makes it seem like the place.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it, actually.
Yeah. And then also like bring in this aspect of Breath of the Wild, which is having like big open spaces that are just empty is kind of important when it comes to a game like that. Especially like in Breath of the Wild, when you're just running across a field, like that, just having this feeling of like traveling is very important to the game itself, because it's not, you don't feel like you're just like, oh, I'm here, oh, and now I'm here. You actually feel like you're traveling between places, and I think that feeling is very necessary in a game that would be all about traversal and like when you're going from, say, like Winterfell to King's Landing, like you should feel like you're going to King's Landing and not to your neighbor's house.
Exactly. Also, I talked to my friend about the Game of Thrones games, and he's a big strategy game fan, and he just thought should bring up that there are already a lot of mods out for current strategy games where you have the Westeros map and you just play on that instead of like the world map. And he he really wants a game where like a strategy game that's specifically done for Game of Thrones.
You could, yeah. I'm thinking like maybe you could do like a Fire Emblem game like Game of Thrones. Like let's say you're playing as like the Lannisters as a whole, kind of, or like the Starks. You're playing as the Starks, and your goal is to take over the continent of Westeros, basically. And you have to, through like conversation and battle, take over everything. Or maybe you're like this new family or something. And like the way you could do it is through, like, if you decide to go to war, that's when you get like the strategy gameplay.
Yeah, that could be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
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 Do you have any other ideas?
Yeah, no, I don't think
No.
so. Yeah, this was a tough topic. Game of Thrones is so multi-sided, basically, that making a game that completely covers every aspect of Game of Thrones would be a very expensive game to make.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be possible to capture what makes Game of Thrones so great.
The closest thing I can think about is like The Witcher.
Yeah.
And like, but CD Projekt Red is, I think they're the only ones right now capable of doing a Game of Thrones game justice, but they're not going to do it, I don't think.
So yeah, I think that's it for this episode of Rebreak Radio. Please like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Dennis_Lofgren.
And I'm at VRobinGL.
And you can also follow the channel itself at Rebreak Radio. And have a good day.